Alrighty guys, what's up and welcome back to the channel for another episode of the walk around. If you don't know me, my name is Big Red. I reviewed all of Dewet&Bikes, essentially making sure they run properly, making sure everything is working perfectly, and also giving you guys a little bit of extra info on the bike. I've always switched things up a little bit and we are now doing a walk arounds. So if you are a interested buyer, we can just give you a little bit more information on the bike and just give you a better look at what you are getting yourself into. So with that being said guys, today we have a 2005 CBR1000 Fireblade. This one is selling for $79,900 and it's got about 50,000 Ks on the clock. I must say, I'm a huge fan of the CBRs. I think when it comes time for me to buy a 1000, I will most likely be buying myself a 2008 CBR. However, I love these older ones purely because the power is absolutely great. It's instant and it's crazy and it's linear and it's just perfect, but we'll get on to it. The first thing we're going to talk about guys is looks. Maniki. Hello. Okay, yes, sorry, my bad.
BMW, what year is it?
2011. Yes. Alrighty guys, first things first, we're going to be talking about the looks. As you can see, we've got a little bit of customization going on here, especially with the panels. I would actually have to have a look at what the stock ones look like, but I don't think that this over here is in stock, and this white and maroon down here, that's definitely not stock, but I love it. I really love it. As you guys will see, it is quite, it's got a little bit of a kind of a blocky shape, very low seated. There's a lot going on at the bottom and just a little bit going on up at the top. It's a very kind of low center of gravity bike. There's more going on at the bottom and it kind of reduces as you go further up, but I love it. I love the look of it. Unfortunately it's a big bike and it's also quite a heavy bike, but I think it looks great for what it is, especially considering it's a 2005. I mean, if you start looking at some of the older 2005 bikes, I think it's safe to say that this was one of the better looking ones you could get your hands on. So yeah, all in all, beautiful looking bike. I love how it all comes together. As you can see, it's a little bit thick at the front, but it just looks so mean. It almost looks a little bit like a 1200. Doesn't really look like a 1000. It looks too big to be a 1K. But I mean, taking that power into consideration, I wouldn't be surprised if you told me this was a 1200. I would be like, okay, Shep, I believe you. Awesome looking bike. I love this tail as well, nice and sharp. Normally I'm not too crazy about the wide tail at the back, but it just works well on this. Just looks absolutely exceptional. Love the look of this bike. Next thing guys is modifications. So first things first, we do have a nice exhaust on here. It's a tornado exhaust. I have seen that on quite a few of the CBRs, so yeah, a few people might know that as well. It is not a full system, it is just a muffler. However, yeah, it looks pretty good, I must say. I like how they brought it out under the tail. A lot of people actually bring it out the side and leave all of this dead space underneath there. So yeah, I'm glad that they did it the way they did it. As you do on most bikes, we've got some nice little rear stand pins, so you can change your rear tire, do your chain maintenance, do your oil servicing, stuff like that. We've got a nice center tank pad on there. Again, that sort of thing, it's kind of just protecting the paint from foreign objects sliding up and down on the tank. But normally if you want to get something a little bit more functional, you can get the ones that sit on the sides and they'll actually save they're going to save you from a little bit of pain. So next thing guys is going to be nice and simple. Again, if you have watched any of these videos with shorty levers, I absolutely love them. They work amazingly. It's a really nice way to personalize your bike, get it to fit to your liking. I mean, just the pure fact that you can adjust it, love it. Yes, you can get the normal long levers that adjust, but I just think the shorties just make sense, especially based on the way that I ride. For me, I'm always like this, so it just works. And when you pull the brakes in, it's not hitting these other two fingers, so love it. Same story on the clutch. I think it just makes sense. And that's about it, guys. Nothing too crazy going on. I got stock mirrors. These grips are stock. They do come like this. Oh, we've got some nice little bar-ins, so that is going to save, again, don't quote me, but it might save some of this over here. Might save your mirrors. It's definitely going to save your levers. And yeah, that's about it for the modifications, guys. A good balance, not too much, not too little. You've got the most basic one, which is an exhaust. You can't have bike and not put an aftermarket exhaust on it. It's like, come on, what do you do? Now, in terms of comfort, I will say I do much prefer the newer model. Like, I think it was 08, 2008, where they did the change. I just want to turn these down so that I don't show my face. But yeah, I do much prefer the newer year model, purely because you feel a lot more upright on the bike. It's just purely based on my riding style. That's what I prefer. However, nonetheless, it doesn't mean that this is a uncomfortable bike. It's, like I said, it's a very thick bike, so it's actually nice and comfy. It's like you just feel safe. You know, it's not one of those skinny little things like my little Daytona, where you feel like you're sitting on a broomstick. This feels much more comfortable, and it feels much more secure as well. And I although it's a big bike, it is okay. I'll talk about that a little bit later on, and then get into maneuverability. But you know, nowadays it's a pretty comfortable bike, taking into consideration you know, what we're dealing with nowadays. I think we are definitely moving more so towards the racing era of bikes, so they aren't putting too much of a focus onto the comfort, especially the sport bikes. So it's nice to have a nice little bit of a older bike, and you know, have something that's proper comfy, and you know, they're not too worried about what this thing's going to be able to do on the track. But obviously they took it into consideration. Overall, very, very comfy bike. Nothing that really stands out to me. I will say I did notice a little bit of pain at the upper neck. If I remember correctly, this was probably close to 2 years ago when I rode one of these. But I do have a faint memory of the upper neck getting a little bit sore, even after about, I think it was 30-40 minutes of riding. However, with that being said, I am a shorter rider, so I think maybe if you're a little bit taller, that might not be the case, but can't say for sure. Nonetheless, seat is very comfy, not too much pressure on the wrists, and the foot pegs are in a very, very natural position. Huge fan of that. I must say, the gearbox on these things it's amazing. I love it. It's one of my favorite gearboxes out there. So smooth, not only upshifts but downshifts as well. Finding neutral, everything about it is just so nice and smooth. And on the note of smoothness, that suspension, I love it. I don't know what was going on in 2005, but they hit it on the nail. They hit the nail. They hit the hammer. They hit the hammer on the nail with the suspension. Very, very, very nice suspension. However, as I said, unfortunately, I will have to say that I would much prefer to have a 2008, purely because it's just a little bit more nimble. The riding position is different. It's much lighter. You know, it's just, yeah, I like it. Even though the power kicks a little bit later, it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. I wish we had one now. Moving on to the next one, which is going to be, I'm kind of going to do it together, which is maneuverability and power/acceleration, because I feel like they kind of go together. You know, power and acceleration affects maneuverability, and that doesn't affect acceleration, but it's fine. You know, we're just going to group it together just this one time, because I don't have too much to say, purely because I haven't ridden one of these things in like 2 years basically. So the thing that stands out to me the most with these 2005s is that power. Guys, it's crazy. It's absolutely insane. It hits instantaneously. There's instant power. It's like riding a 1290 or an M209 or a naked bike. It's like riding a naked bike. That power kicks so early, and it's so consistent. It's one of my, if not my favorite power curve ever on a bike. Literally straight from 2,000-3,000 RPMs all the way up through to 12. It's just power, 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 power. And that's all that I can say. It's, yeah, like, I don't think I need to say more. It's a powerhouse. That's all this thing is. It's just got crazy amounts of power all over the place, and I absolutely love it. being a naked bike rider, power and maneuverability is, kind of my, the things that I focus on the most. So this thing's got beautiful amounts of power, beautiful, beautiful. And then even in the maneuverability department, taking everything into consideration on this bike, it's a heavy bike, it's a big bike, it's a long bike, it's got a long wheelbase. Everything about it kind of says I'm not maneuverable, but it is. I would put it on par with the Gixxer 1000s actually. I would say that the 08s are a little bit, in fact probably the most nimble 1000s in my opinion, based on ergonomics, wheelbase and how the bike just rides in general. I would have to say that is the most maneuverable out of all of the sport bikes that I've ridden, specifically 08. So yeah, this I would liken it to the 2015 Gixxer 1000s. That's what this thing is similar to. Again, struggles to get into that corner, but once it's in the corner, sits exceptionally well, and coming out of that corner is just beautiful. Not only because of the way it sits and the way it just takes the corner so beautifully, but with that power that's all over the place, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. The power makes up for the lack of maneuverability. Let's just say that. However, it's not the bike that you're going to use to go, like flying in and out of traffic. You probably could. It's just going to take a little bit more effort, shall we say. But yeah, all in all, guys, it's definitely one of my absolute favorites. It's always going to have a bit of a special place in my heart because it is the first 1000cc bike that I rode. So yeah, obviously this bike in particular does mean quite a bit to me essentially. However, it's not my favorite 1000. As I said, when it comes time for one, I'm definitely going to go with the 08. However, you cannot go wrong with a Honda, especially in South Africa. Parts are readily available, they're quite easy to fix and maintain, and yeah, they're all over the place. So there's definitely going to be enough helping hands around to get that thing sorted. And I mean, at the end of the day, if you want to get your steel bike fixed, just come to Dewet&Bikes. But anyways, guys, if you made it through to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. If I wasn't able to answer any of your questions, drop them down in the comment section below and I will get back to you as soon as possible. With that being said, guys, that's it from me today. I'll catch you guys all in the next episode, and yeah, I'll see you guys later. Enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.